we left off on our hands and knees. So we'll sort of go from there today. I won't do as much on the shoulder, even though I really wanted to like do the same thing, but I just can't help myself. But let's start with a little massage still, so we wake things up a little bit. So find your therapy balls and let's roll out our feet, and then we'll do our back at the wall. So if you enjoy doing 2 balls at the same time, go ahead and do that as well today again. If you want just one, do one. Third, gently, and then slowly increase pressure on the ball. Look for juicy spots. Switch over to the other foot. If you found something that you're really enjoying, like a spot that really wants a bit more love, just stay there. Like there's no right or wrong way of doing this, no right length, how short or long you should be doing this, just what feels right. Do what feels right for you. Everybody's different. We all do different things throughout our day. If you went for a long walk yesterday, maybe your feet need more of this today. Or maybe you did a lot of massaging yesterday or before the class, so you know, you might be all massaged out. Nice. And then pick up the balls. Use your hinge as you pick up your balls, right? Bend your knees. And we'll come to the wall. So my middle son made me laugh yesterday. He asked me, they're playing with their walkie-talkies a lot. So he asked me, what do you say to Fuzzy Bunny on the walkie-talkie? Any guesses? Maybe you know this joke, I didn't. You too fuzzy, I can't hear you. So our body is like a fuzzy bunny in the morning, right? It's a little faded. It's a little too fuzzy or foggy, right? So by massaging the back, the shoulders, the lower back, the middle back with a ball, we're sort of making things a little bit more clear for our brain. So the brain can sort of send out signals that are a little bit more refined for those parts of the body, right? And they start, you know, operating in a little bit more of a orchestrated, more efficient way. So let's not be a fuzzy bunny. Let's, map it out a little bit for the brain. And find your favorite spots for today. They'll be different every morning. So maybe across your shoulders, across the shoulder blades. Yeah, I really want you to enjoy it. Like, try your lower back, maybe do 2 balls like this along your waist line, go side to side, bend your knees. Maybe even go lower, maybe your, bum really needs it. Yeah, you can even sort of go to the side. So this spot feels really good, right there. The side hip, where the leg connects to your hip. To the other side. Very nice. Great. And put the balls off to the side. Let's find the stool. And before we go onto our hands and knees, we'll just revisit, the neutral, our neutral. As you sit down, be mindful about your hinge, right? Nice. And once you down there, rock your pelvis back and forth. If you place your fingertips on your rib cage, see that the rib cage is not moving, but your pelvis is tipping back and forth. Map out the sit bones underneath you, right? Feel the pointy parts, and then tilt your pelvis a little bit further forward so you find the flat part, right? Just in front of the sit bones, like your pelvic feet, like you're standing on feet that start here. And then tip back and feel the pointy parts again. And then tilt forward onto that flatter part of your pelvis. Tip back and forward. And now find the flat part and stay there. Notice how you now have a curve through the lower back. Check in with your ribs. Make sure you're not popping your lid open. Mm-hmm. Bless you. Ty.
I'm unmuted still, am I?
I want a little bit of a sound, otherwise I feel like I'm in the vacuum.
Okay.
So maintain your, if your gang comes into the room, I'll mute you.
Right, yeah, good idea.
So maintain your neutral. Yeah, everybody looks really good. So before we get onto our hands and knees, let's warm up the wrists a little bit. Connect the backs of your hands. So your thumbs, right, are touching as well. So this part, the fleshy part of your hand, yeah, is touching as well. Notice how the shoulders want to come up to the ears, right? Slowly release them down. Press the hands together, the backs of the hands together, and then see if you can lower the wrists without letting go of that contact between the backs of your hands. So bring them higher till you can connect them together, right? Yeah, and then slowly lower them down while still pressing the backs of the hands. Relax your jaw. Let's move our head side to side here gently. Very nice. So release, shake them out gently. Very nice. So let's just experiment. Slouch in your chair. Sometimes to find something, we need to lose it first. And then come up onto that flat part of your pelvis. Beautiful. Slouch again. So stay there and then turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. See how your range of movement is here. Okay, come back to center. Now tilt your pelvis forward. Come up onto that flat part right in front of your sit bones. Pretend you're pushing up against the bag of rice on top of your head. And now turn your head to the right. Back to center and to the left. Notice how your range of motion is now, but you're not slouching. Come back to center. Now ear to the left shoulder. Notice how the gaze wants to fall towards the floor. Reach your right arm down, pull your fingertips up. Stay aware of your sit bones there. Slowly bring your head back up. Let's do the other side. If you're not sure if you're in a neutral, slouch back down again. And then come up on top of your sit bones, right in front of them. The neck is upright. Push into that bag of rice. Right ear to the right shoulder. Left arm reaches down. Pull the fingertips up. Pull the fingertips up. So the back of your left hand, yeah, you're extending through the wrist. Breathing here. Beautiful. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Great. Nice. So let's make our way down onto the floor. But before we do that, let's practice our standing up from the chair. Make sure your feet are pressing into the floor. and that your shins are at 90 degrees. So we don't want the feet to be sort of scooched in close to the chair, right? So find 90 degrees, roughly 90 degrees there. Make sure you start on that flat part of your pelvis in front of the sit bones. Hinge forward. Reach your arms forward. Light up your legs. Think of corkscrewing your heels into the midline. Push through the feet and come up. Let's sit back down. So light up your legs. Start hinging, send your sit bones back. Make sure your vertebrae in the lower back don't move, right? You're reaching your sit bones for the chair lightly. Find the chair, sit down. Beautiful. One more time, hinging forward. Hinge. Light up your legs. Press through the feet. Come up. Nice. So hinging. Look for the chair with your sit bones. Find the chair. Beautiful. Nice. And we'll go all the way down. You could just go all the way down to the floor of your chair. So you can try moving over your hips here. Notice how you're hinging at the hips. Notice if your lower back is moving. If you have your block or a book, place the object on your lower back and then see if you can keep that object from tipping side to side. That way you will know that your lower back is not moving. Rather, you're moving at the hips. And now to feel the difference, push the object up with your lower back. Round into the lower back, into the middle back, into the upper back. Tuck your chin in, tuck your tail under, and then slowly start with your sit bones. The sit bones are moving up. Your lower back extends, your middle back extends, your upper back extends, and you gently look up, keeping your neck nice and long. And one more time, tipping the pelvis back, tucking the tail under, pushing the object up with your lower back, rounding all the way up into your neck. And slowly come back. Oh, somebody dropped it. That's good. That was a good rounding into the back. Okay, so now let's take the object off to the side. We'll come down onto our elbows, like so. And notice how we're still in the hinge, right? I'm not rounding into the lower back. I just made this angle between the thighs and my belly less than 90 degrees, right? So on your elbows, can you collapse your chest towards the floor? Feel how your upper back became narrower, and now you're gently pressing through the forearms, widening your upper back. Yeah, and then inhale, release your chest towards the floor, feel the shoulder blades move in towards the spine. You're still in your hinge, you're not sort of dropping your belly towards the floor. It's just the chest. Yeah, nice, Lisa. Now pushing through the forearms, widening the upper back. One more time. Inhale, release the chest towards the floor. Just the chest, staying in that hinge. Trying not to dip further into the lower back. It's just the shoulder blades. Exhale, pushing through your forearms, widening across the shoulder blades. Now separate your hands like this. Flatten your hands into the floor so the backs of your hands are pressing to the floor. Move your elbows 2 inches forward. Make sure the backs of your hands are glued to the floor. Yeah. So press through the forearms so your upper back still feels nice and broad. Tuck your toes under. And now send your hips back without rounding into your lower back. So this stretch goes right into the shoulders. We're not sort of breaking in the middle back. The middle back stays nice, and so we're not dropping down, right? We're thinking of sending the rib cage up towards the sky. You can lengthen your neck, tuck your chin in, keep the backs of your hands glued to the floor. Breathe, and then slowly bring yourself back up. Push yourself up onto your hands. Go down onto your elbows. We'll do it a couple times. Slowly press your left hand into the floor, and then your right hand into the floor. Come up onto your hands and knees. Right forearm down, left forearm down. Press the right hand into the floor, push yourself up. One more time. Right forearm down, left forearm down. Left hand presses into the floor, push yourself up. Hands and knees. We're gonna reach the right arm across, well, it'll be your mirror reflection. So your left arm across midline, so it's a little bit easier for you. So if you look at me from the side, it's like this. Now we're gonna send the hips back. Keep your fingertips now glued to the floor. Soften your left elbow. Pull your hips back, still in that hinge, right? Feel the gentle stretch under the armpit all the way down through the left side of your body. And slowly bring yourself up. Now we'll reach your right arm across midline. So forward and on a diagonal. Yeah. Soften your left elbow. Pull your hips back. Stay up on your fingertips. Tuck your chin in so your neck is nice and long. Think of sending your ribcage up towards the sky here without lifting off your heels. So we're trying to avoid them breaking in the mid-back, right? We're lifting the ribcage up towards the sky while pulling the hips back to the heels. Beautiful. And slowly bring yourself up. Oh, so good. Find your book or your block, put it on your lower back. Widen your knees a little bit, and we'll go for a circle over our hips. First with our knees parallel to each other. Staying aware of that object, is it moving or not? Now let's try moving our left knee ahead of the right, and your toes are slightly closer together so your knees end up wider than your feet, right? And the left knee is ahead of the right. And then go for a circle here, balancing your object on the lower back. See how much fun that is? You drop the object, you're like, oh, my lower back was moving. And then you pick it up, you put it down again. So switch the direction of your circle. You can come up onto your fingertips if your hands are getting tired, if your wrists are getting tired. Nice. And switch. So the other knee goes forward. The knees are still wider than your feet. Go for a circle here. Switch the direction. Notice how this hip is doing. Does it feel different from your other side? Beautiful. Come back to center. Parallel your knees so they're on the same line. If your hands are really tired, you're welcome to come down onto your elbows, but it's better if you have a little bit of height under your elbows. So maybe your blanket or a bolster or 2 blocks if you have that. So pressing, if you're still on your hands, press into your hands and see if you can rotate the eye of the elbow forward. Is everybody on their hands or somebody went down onto the elbows? Everybody is on their hands. Okay, so we'll try this here. So rotate the eye of the elbow forward and then see if you can bend the elbows, pulling the elbows in towards one another and go down onto your forearms and then push yourself. and then relax your arms. Again, rotate the eye of the elbow forward. Pull the elbows in towards midline, like you're holding a watermelon between your elbows. And then you're folding your elbows back. I initiate with my elbows, not so much with my hips. I rotate, and it's my lower, see, I'm not moving the hips back. The hips stay up, moving at the elbows, and then push up. Yeah, very nice. Keep thinking of holding your watermelon between the elbows. Down and up. Ooh, so much work. Beautiful. So from here, let's flip the right, well, I'm the mirror reflection, so the left hand over like this. Try to keep your elbows straight. Gather your fingers into a fist, and then open. If this is too much pressure on the back of your hand, you can move your hand forward, and that will make it a little bit easier. And then flip that hand over to the other side. Gather them into a fist, open. Beautiful. Okay. So slowly flip both hands over with some hands and knees, and we'll reach the left leg out to the side. You're welcome to go down onto your elbows here. Still balancing the object. See how my object is in that valley, and I'm gonna send the hips back. Again, trying to not tuck the tail under, tip the pelvis under, because if I do, see what happens? Yeah, I'm rounding into my lower back. And I'm taking the stretch out of that inner thigh. So balancing that object, but trying not to pop the lid open. See how the lid wants to pop open here? So you're sending the hips back, move forward. If you look at me from the front, back and forth. Press the pinky side of your foot into the ground and see that your foot is in line with your hip. It's not behind the hip, it's right in line. Notice how the lower back wants to round as well, right? Maybe even place your other hand, if you're doing the right leg, place your left hand on your back and find that curve through the lower back. So your hand will help you feel if there is a curve. Like I'm noticing that. Yeah, notice the moment when the back wants to round. Very nice. Take that leg back in. Ooh. Yeah. Let's stack up fists. Rest your forehead on your fist. Take a moment here. Breathing into the belly. You don't have to, if you want, you can go into the child pose, but you don't have to. Like this is a really nice restorative shape as well. And I can really allow my belly to soften on the inhale, release it towards the floor. And gently hug it back in on the inhale. Inhale, release the belly towards the floor. Exhale, gently hug it back in. Then slowly push yourself back up onto your hands. And we'll do the other side. So you're on your tabletop. See that you're rotating the eye of the elbow forward, and that will give your upper back a bit more support. Broaden your upper back. Notice if it feels narrow, right? Now let's take the left leg out to the side. I'm your mirror reflection. Or whichever you haven't done. So you can place your object on your lower back, or if you want, if your arm feels strong, you can take the other arm off, right, and place it on your lower back. Yeah, Gordon, make sure you're pushing the floor away, right? You're not collapsing into the shoulder. And now we're gonna hinge at the hip, right? We're not moving the lower back, we're hinging. Very nice, Mandy. Yeah. See that your foot is in line with your hip. It's not behind the hip, it's right in line. Yeah. Pressing the pinky side of your left foot into the floor. So we're stretching the outer ankle as well here. Keep pushing the floor away through your hand, or if you're on both hands, use both hands. Push the floor away. Try not to collapse into the wrists. Beautiful. And then slowly come back to center. Pull your leg back in. Let's go down onto our fists. Take a moment here. Relax the belly on the inhale towards the floor. Exhale, gently hug back in. Inhale, release the belly towards the floor. Really soften it. Exhale, gently hugging back in. Beautiful. Now push yourself out onto your hands. And we'll go down onto our back. We'll use the blanket for a little bit of our support. So remember my favorite way of bolstering the back. You fold the blanket lengthwise, right? And you tuck the top part under so it's a little higher. And the reason we're doing this is because we really want to help our back ribcage to be stacked on top of the pelvis, right? When the upper back is a little bit stiff, like when we're on our back, we end up doing this when we are on our back as well. So what the bolster does, it's helping us keep the ribcage stacked right over the pelvis. The bottom of your blanket will line up with your shoulder blades, not your middle back, but higher up. Make sure your neck is comfortable and it feels nice and long. Your knees are bent, feet on the ground. Let's take a few moments here to articulate our lower back. We spent quite a bit of time on our hands and knees where we were stabilizing the lower back, right, and moving at the hips, hinging and then doing circles. So here, feel the difference as you're moving the lower back now. Tipping the pelvis back, pressing the lower back into the ground. And then on the inhale, you're tipping the pelvis forward, and that creates a little bit more space under the lower back. Your ribcage stays heavy on your blanket. Connect your movement with your breath. Very nice. So find your neutral. So neutral, again, there's a little bit of a curve through the lower back. It's not pressing to the ground. Okay. Now we're gonna hinge at the right hip. Bring the hip up closer to your belly. Make sure nothing has changed in the lower back, right? We're not pressing it into the floor. We're not tipping it forward. Now press your right hand into your right thigh. Create some resistance there. Keep pushing. Now see if you can straighten the right leg any amount and then bend it again. So creating resistance between the hand and the thigh, straightening the knee any amount and bending. One more time, straighten. So stay there, check in with your lower back. Are you still in neutral? Now see if you can rotate the leg in and out. I'm gonna turn my butt like this so you can see. So we're rotating the leg on its axis. The thigh stays vertical in relation to the floor, but the leg rotates from the root up. Flex your foot, Try to engage as many muscles in the leg as possible. The back stays in neutral. We're not doing anything to the lower back. We're stabilizing it with our core muscles by creating resistance between the hand and the thigh. Beautiful. Come back to center. Now point the foot and flex a few times. Point and flex. And now slowly bring it down. Ooh, take a moment there. Maybe allow that knee to go out to the side. If you have your balls nearby, you can stick it under that right bum cheek. With your right knee out to the side, squeeze the right bum cheek. Come up right on top of the ball. And then slowly let it go. Release. It's right there. And then you squeeze the right bum cheek. Come up on top of the ball. And then slowly let go. All the way down. Feel like at the bottom there's another layer of tension there. Squeeze, come up right on top of the ball. And then slowly, slowly go down. All the way. Softening, bringing it up. Shimmy your hips side to side so the wall is massaging across the right side. Beautiful. Come off the ball. So feet on the ground, let's hinge at the left hip now. Nothing is changing in your lower back. Press your left hand into the thigh. Resist the thigh back into your hand. Flex your foot. Keep pushing, keep resisting. Notice that subtle engagement all across the core, right? When you create resistance and you're not letting the lower back articulate here, you're stabilizing it. Nice. Now we're going to straighten the left knee any amount. Keep flexing the foot and bend. Straighten and bend. And then straighten. And now we're going to rotate on the axis. Keep resisting the hand into the thigh, thigh into the hand. The thigh stays vertical. You're rotating it on its axis. Beautiful. So come back to center so it's vertical. And now you're going to point and flex your foot a few times. Bring the ball under the left side, under the left arm cheek. Allow the left thigh to fall out to the side. Now engage the left bum, the left side. Come up right on top of the ball and then slowly, slowly soften. And again, squeeze the left side, come up on top of the ball. And then slowly soften all the way down. Allow the ball to sink in deeper into that side. One more time, squeeze, come up on top of the ball. And then slowly, slowly let go. All the way. Now bring the knee up. And then shimmy hips side to side, massaging. Lovely. Okay, take the ball out. Go onto your side. Rearrange your blanket so it makes a nice pillow for your head. Make sure it's high enough for your bottom shoulder, not to feel all bunched up. And we're going to squeeze the ball inside the top knee. So we worked on stabilizing our core. We articulated the spine. So now we're going to move at the hip while stabilizing, keeping the core nice and stable. We worked at the hip as well. So hopefully we'll have a bit more awareness around the hip joint. Look at your knees and see how they're slightly in front of you. See if you can move the thighs back so you're more in a straight line. Your knees are in line with your hip, in line with your shoulders. So I'm trying not to be here. I'm trying to be a bit more straight without arching from my lower back. So squeezing the ball. Place your right fingertips on the floor in front of you, so anchor it down. And then you're gonna send your side back behind you. Keep your lid on. Then the knee will travel up as the heel goes down, all the way into your shoulder. And then you start rotating at the hip. Heel goes up as the knee goes down. And then you slowly, slowly move your side back. Keep your lid on. Knee up, heel down. It's your kneecap that is a crayon that is painting a big circle. And that way you'll make sure that the movement goes deep into the hip. Send it back, knee up, heel down. Beautiful. Let's take a moment here. Inhale, exhale, and we'll switch the direction. So thigh moves in towards your chest. Try not to shrink through the front as you do this, so the core is still stable. Knee up, heel down, as far as you can back, and then the knee goes down as the heel goes up. 2 more circles. Pulling the thigh through, heel down, knee up, 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 and back. And then the knee draws a circle as it changes the direction, goes down towards the floor, heel goes up. Pull through one last time. Beautiful. Take the ball out. Give yourself a little tap on the side of the hip there. Before we switch over to the other side, let's do my favorite neck stretch here. So we're gonna push the blanket off to the side and release the head all the way down to the floor. So if this feels like it's way too much, the floor feels very far away, you can unfold the blanket and just make it a little bit thinner, right? So the ball will be in your right hand, and you'll reach the right arm alongside the body, squeeze the ball. And you'll slowly bring your head up so your neck lines up with your spine. And then still reaching the ball towards your right heel, you slowly releasing the head down. Reach the ball towards your right foot. Feel the stretch through the side of your neck. Tuck your chin in, make sure you're not lifting your chin up. Then slowly bring the head back up. And down. Reaching the ball to the right heel. And then last time, lift it up. Beautiful. Put the ball down. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Push yourself up. And we'll switch over to the other side. So again, find that perfect thickness for your shoulder, not to feel all bunched up. So the blanket is just the right height. Look down at your knees, see that the knees are not in front of your body, more in line with your hips. Squeeze the ball inside your top knee. Anchor your top arm, your top hand into the floor in front of you. You're going to send the thigh back. Keep your lid attached here. Knee up, heel down. Keep squeezing the ball, flex your foot. Knee down, heel up. Pull through all the way back, anchoring your body.
helping with your arm. The core stays engaged. Pretend there is an object right behind you, like a block or a glass of wine right behind you. So you're trying not to knock it down. The pelvis stays right on its side the whole time. We're articulating at the hip. One more circle in this direction. Beautiful. Take a moment here. Breathe. And then we switch. Pull the thigh in towards the chest. Knee up, heel down. And then the knee goes down as the heel goes up. So internal rotation here. Pull it through to your chest. Try not to shrink through the front. Knee up, heel down. And then slowly, see how it's the knee that's drawing the circle. Heel up, knee down. Pull through. One last time. Knee up. Knee down, heel up now. Beautiful. Very nice. Take the both out and tap the hip. Now take the blanket off to the side or unfold it. Keep the ball in that top arm, in that top hand. Release the head all the way down to your blanket or the floor. Squeeze the ball, start reaching the ball towards your left heel. Slowly lift your head up, the neck is nice and long. Try not to bring the chin up, so the chin is slightly tucked in. And then slowly releasing the head down. Feel the stretch to the side of the neck. Keep reaching the ball towards your left heel. Then slowly lift the head back up. Chin in, ribs in, and slowly release the head down. And one more time. Lift it up. And then slowly down. Beautiful. Now put the ball down. Bring your blanket under your head, roll onto your back. Knees bent, arms are relaxing by your sides. Take a moment here. Gently move your head side to side. Now let's tip the pelvis forward, increasing the arch under the lower back. Exhale, pressing into your feet. Now press the lower back into the ground. Inhale, tilt your pelvis forward. Exhale, tilt it back. Wait for your lower back to press into the floor. Root down through your heels, press into your feet. Now start lifting your hips up, coming into a lower bridge. At the top of the bridge, think of pulling your heels in towards your shoulders. Light up the backs of your legs, your hamstrings. Inhale here, and then exhale, slowly, slowly go down. Your ribcage goes down first. Your upper lower back, your middle lower back, the bottom of your lower back, and then you proceed to tilt your pelvis forward. Inhale. Exhale. Take your pelvis back nice and slow, articulating through the lower back. Wait for your lower back to press into the ground first. Root through your heels. Start pushing the feet into the floor as you lift your hips up. At the top of your bridge, pull your heels in towards your shoulders. Light up the backs of your legs. Inhale here. And then slowly, slowly. Bone my bone. Beautiful. So take the blanket from under your head, fold it one more time so it's a little bit thicker. Press into your feet, lift up your hips, and we'll place the blanket under our sacrum. And see that the blanket is a bit closer to your tailbone, so the lower part of your sacrum. We'll straighten the left leg and we'll pull the right knee in to the chest. See if you can hold onto your right knee. And allow your pelvis to tuck under a little bit, and the blanket is helping you with that. Reach your left heel forward and float it 1 inch off the floor. Straighten your left knee. Gently pull your right thigh in towards your chest. Beautiful. So straighten your right leg. Pull your left knee in. Allow your pelvis to tip back a little bit, like your lower back is hanging off your blanket towards the floor, almost rounding a little bit. Then pull the left thigh into your chest, reach through your right heel. Let it float 1 inch off the floor. The right heel is floating. Make sure your neck feels nice and long. Breathing. Beautiful. And then place your feet down on the floor. Take the blanket off to the side. If you want, you can place the blanket under your head again. And we'll rest here. So you can straighten out your legs, you can relax your arms by your sides. Allow the feet to turn out. And we'll just see how things are now. Taking easy breaths in, noticing how much your body is available.